some leg of this matter is in court already, and you know what our house rules say about matters in court. And in view of the fact that they have pending ongoing investigations, we felt it will be counterproductive for their papers to be everywhere. And as a result of that, they brought only one submission. Any member of the committee that wants to interact with the evidences brief will be given to him and will be mobbed later, so that it will not be from this committee that the information of the security agencies will be leaked out. This is the decision of our committee, and I wish to make it clearly here and rule that we will not share the reports of the security agencies in view of the fact that they have ongoing investigations. So you can go ahead, please.
As investigated, part of this case late last year and filed 8 count charges before a federal high court. The case is ongoing, and we also have arrested this suspect. He's in our custody. I can assure you that. And we have also continued with areas that were not addressed before this time. And also other security agencies are also undergoing, carrying out investigations with respect to this matter. So I think, Mr. Chairman, I will seek your permission to keep the matters as they are, because we don't want to say things that are under investigation. It is definitely going to prejudice the ongoing investigation and make people to have opinions that might not necessarily be the outcome of that may prejudice the outcome of our investigation or judicial decision. Thank you, sir.
So we have your submission very clear, very bulky, with all the evidences and backup that you think it should be given to us. May I use this opportunity as the chairman of the committee to confirm 2 things from you, or a few things from you, so that we will know that the evidences from A to K is really an anecdote that came from the Nigerian police. You know, these days, if the agency can have an act, agency under investigation can have an act, we don't want to play to the hand of anybody that will give us evidence that are not from the Nigerian police. We have your anecdote A, which is the police interim report. Clerk, where's the clerk? We need a clerk here that will move between us and the person we are interacting with.
Savage, come.
By Latif Adio Ahmed, PhD, the Principal Staff Officer to the Inspector General of Police.
Can you, for confirmation, collect it. Give it to him.
Can you confirm this Exhibit A?
From you.
If it's emanated from you.
Yes, I will confirm that this came from us.
Okay, give us back, please. We are done, but we will want to call the attention of the general public in respect to Exhibit A. Is an interim report of the investigation of the Nigerian police. 2 issues that we will not read the report because it will undermine their investigation, but 2 issues that were raised here in the course of our investigation was confirmed by the Nigerian police. That in matter of truth, there was a report sent to the Nigerian police via reference number SH-COS 80A42 dated 17 October 2025 by one Right Honorable Femi Bajabiamila, the Chief of Staff to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Where he addressed it to the Director General of the Department of State Service and were copies to the Nigerian police and the police order investigation of this matter. Is that correct?
Sorry, sir.
Again, I repeat the date. On the 17th October 2005.
Yes,
2025.
yes.
Good. And the matter was investigated and reported to the court for criminal conspiracy and forgery.
Yes, sir.
Am I correct?
You are correct, sir.
It's just to make general public understand, we can't keep your report quiet like that. The aspect that you confirm that have to do with issues that were raised here, we have to mention it in one way or the other. Now, again, through another letter, reference HH, COS 80A50, the same one, Femi Bajabiamila, Chief of Staff to the President of the Federal Republic, wrote another petition against the same person, one Prince Adeyemi Matthew. The attach of the complaint that he put is attached to this your letter written to you. Is that correct?
It's correct, sir.
And he made the following allegations. One of the allegations made in the second letter, this first one, you took it to court for conspiracy and forgery.
Yes.
The second one, he alleged that one Prince Adeyemi Matthew had been parading himself as Director General of the fictitious Presidential Economic and Advisory Council.
Yes, sir.
Presidential Economic and Advisory Council, as well as Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council.
Yes, sir.
That is two agencies in one.
Yes, sir.
And requests that the suspect use his fictitious capacity to secure an office in the Federal Secretariat complex.
Yes, sir.
So the Chief of Staff to the President raised that as a second issue in your letter.
Yes.
The third one, that the suspect secure a recruitment waiver to employ about 300 staff. In your petition, in his petition to you, he reported that.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
He also requested the inclusion and secured approximately 1,300,000,000 naira in the budget for the agency in the 2026 Appropriation Act. Is that correct?
It's correct, sir.
Then lastly, that the suspect had further gone ahead to plan and arrange for World Investment Summit scheduled to take place in 2026. All these 65 issues are the issues raised by Right Honorable Femi Bajabiamila in the petition to the police, second petition to the police.
Yes, sir.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, finally, before you leave, and you have attached Exhibit A1, Exhibit B1. May I show you B1?
Yes, sir.
B1 is a letter written to Commissioner of Police, investigation into the Prince Adeyemi Matthew and the fictitious Presidential Economic Advisory Council and Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council, dated 1st July 2026. Can you confirm this, if it is from the Nigerian police?
Yes, sir. The petition was actually addressed to the Inspector General of Police on 29 June 2026 by Right Honorable Femi Bajabiamila, Chief of Staff to the President, and then the Inspector General of Police directed the Commissioner of Police, Nigeria Police National Cyber Crime Center on 1st July 2026 to carry out investigation.
Okay, hold that document with you,
yes,
where it was signed by Femi Bajabiamila. Open the page. He wrote the second complaint, petition, and raised 5 issues. There is your Exhibit C1, clerk, which is conveyance of approval to take off Presidential Economic Advisory Council and Foreign Intervention Promotion Council. You mark it as Exhibit C1. Is that your own exhibit? Does it emanate from you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, who wrote the letter? Which letter-headed paper is that? The first page.
The first page is letter from...
Which agency?
The letterhead is titled State House, Abuja, Nigeria.
Okay, and it is signed by who?
Chief of Staff to Invest.
Okay, you are exhibit B1. Check. The same letter, second page, complaint to the ID. It was purportedly signed by who?
Well, this is not purported because we have confirmed.
Okay. It is signed by who?
By the Chief of Staff to the President.
Can you check the two signatures? Are they the same?
They are not the same.
They are not the same.
They are not the same.
So from the letter you confirm from Chief of Staff, raising 5 issues that the agency should be investigated.
Yes.
And your exhibits that you obtained from the suspect that seem to confirm his appointment, the signatures are not the same.
They are not the same, sir.
Are you sure?
I'm sure, sir.
Thank you very much. I think that is all for you.
Thank you, sir.
I'm not being preemptive, but agencies, even under State House, does also use the letter-headed paper of State House. So this letter was purportedly used the letter-headed paper of State House, purportedly signed by Chief of Staff to the President. And the letter that was confirmed by police, Nigerian police, that Chief of Staff wrote to them for the investigation of the purported agency, the signature of the Chief of Staff does not tally with the signature of the letter that is obtained from the Prince Adeyemi. They completely vary, they don't look alike, they are not the same. In respect of these two, before I allow members go through it, the letter written by the Chief of Staff to Office of the National Security Advisor carried the same signature with the one confirmed by State Police, but vary with the signature that the man was said to be appointed. So we are in position of 6 exhibits, letters written by the Chief of Staff to the President that carried the same signature, the same, no variance, but at no point we did not cite any letter that the signature on the appointment of the so-called agency seems to tally. I give this to my colleagues to go through it and see while you confirm Exhibit D. Exhibit D, D1. Clerk, where are you? Nigerian Police are the 3rd agency that are presenting to us a forged act of the National Assembly. In the course of struggle to establish a forged fake agency, even the act of the National Assembly was said to be forged. Let me give my colleagues. I don't think we should go through the content of the evidence. So that other members will cite the document. Let's concentrate on the first signature, Honorable Flatter. If we notice the variation in the signature, we can do it in our secretariat, go through the evidences. So it's just for us to cite the signature. Are they the same? So that other exhibit will be given to you to go through it. Exhibit D, you can give them purported act of the National Assembly. One of his letter, he used State House letter-headed paper. And the other letter, he used Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council letter-headed paper. So we will equally go deep to ask him as to why do we have a letter emanating, genuine letter emanating from Office of the Chief of Staff with his authentic signature corresponding with even some of the document Chief of Staff signed as a Speaker of the National Assembly. The signatures have been consistent, but on the appointment letter and other documents that came from provision, that council seems to vary from all other documents. We will come to that. The letter of appointment, in the 2 letter-headed paper that he uses, State House letter-headed paper, the one that carry his appointment is not restricted, but the one that Right Honorable Femi Bajabiamila wrote to the security agencies, carry restricted. So these are all questions that need to be answered in the course of this, but we will get there. Thank you. This one, request for waiver to recruit staffs. The head of civil service has given us, there is no need to circulate it. A request for staff and existing vacancies from your exhibit, we have equally cited it in the course of our investigation, and they all tally. Budget Office of the Federation, he have appeared here, and what he said and the document he gave us also tally with your exhibit HA, as well as award of contract for the provision of furniture, which is requesting for approval, that was not approved. It was equally attached here. And so many other documents from the Ministry of Finance and what have you. Some of the documents were said to be forged, including the one of the permanent secretary to the secretary to the government of the Federation, where he expressly denied, and we equally compare that his signature is not his own. So if it is about forged document, we are dealing with 29 forged documents, and we will get there. Thank you. God bless you. Let me allow members to glance through. But if you have anything to say, say it. But before then, members, you have heard him. They are doing a serious investigation too, and perhaps our report will recommend further investigation by the police and other security agencies. We are avoiding a situation whereby they will be pushed by our customs in such a way that they will speak statements that will undermine their ongoing investigation. But in the spirit of fairness, if you feel your customs have no business whatsoever with compelling the representative of the Nigerian police to say something that will undermine our investigation and their own criminal investigation, I yield the floor to you to ask. But if you are going toward a direction that will suffocate them to say what we don't want them to say, I think you have donated the power of the gavel to me. I will overrule you. Thank you. Let me allow members, but it will be guided. By the time we sense that we are drifting, I will use the gavel, certainly. Thank you.
On the signature on the first paper and on the second one of a chief of staff to Mr. President, you say that we have confirmed that one is actually the signature of chief of staff, and the other is not is being in doubt. I also want to ask the letterhead being used by purported the DG of the DSC and the one used by the chief of staff to the Mr. President. I've also confirmed and verified the letterhead whether they are the same or whether there's any difference. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Where the issues of the authenticity of documents used, authenticity of writings were compared forensically, and reports made to the investigating team, which was filed before the Federal High Court of Justice. So I think it's already in court and is ongoing. So I don't want to preempt investigative issues.
If you will find a situation like this involving a public office holder that will be patriotic enough to take the matter to law enforcement agency for investigation and did not stop there, take the matter to relevant government agency to confirm status as it is proven based on the document we have before us, instead of using politics to undermine those individuals, I think they should be commended for patriotism. I will not be scared to mention this. There are actions taken by public office holders. At the right time, we'll mention them, that they need to be commended instead of being crucified. Without waste of time, I think we have second appearance, who took permission last week. He traveled due to his official exigency, and he is here today to interact with us. He wrote officially. He sent representative to deliver the letter officially, and he called personally to say that I will not be able to be present today. Please give me another time to appear. He did not say I will not be able to appear before you. So the Accountant General of the Federation himself is here. We appreciate the respect you have for this committee and for National Assembly for writing officially, for sending your delegation, and for personally calling to take some permission before you appear before us. At this juncture, may I yield the floor to you to introduce yourself and the officers that you are here with them. After that, you do not need any permission from us. You go ahead to commence your presentation to us.
The Accountant General of the Federation. The other directors are on their way to the National Assembly. Here I have my Chief of Staff as well as my SA admin here. Thank you, sir. This brief I'm presenting today captures the position of the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation on the circumstances surrounding the establishment, operation, and budgetary inclusion of the Presidential Economic Advisory Council / Presidential Foreign Investment Promotion Council. This memorandum highlights the actions taken by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation between November 2024 and August 2026 on the above subject. In the details the administrative and procedural steps taken in the circumstance. Please note that the first interface that this purported or fake agency had with this my office, that's Office of Accountant General, took effect from November 2024. November 2024, even before I assumed office. First is the administrative code creation, because in your letter of invitation, you specifically mentioned some areas that you need clarification from my office. So let me talk on the administrative code creation. A letter with reference number SH PS PFIPC / RQ107 dated 7th November 2024 was received in the OEGF purportedly from the State House, requesting for the creation of an administrative code for the Presidential Economic Advisory Council for the purpose of budgeting, accounting, and reporting. The administrative code number 011062001 was created for the council, and a letter of conveyance with reference number OAGF/CAD/NCOA/02/volume V6 then 727 dated 29th November 2024 was issued to State House and copied to Budget Office of the Federation. Meaning that there was a letter using State House letterhead to OAGF requesting for an administrative code to be created for the agency. OAGF responded, giving that administrative code, and sent a letter to State House, informing the State House about the creation as requested. The same was also sent to Budget Office. That is the procedure that we usually follow. The second issue that we are asked to talk on is the granting of self-accounting status. The OAGF further received a letter with reference number SA PS PFIPC /RQ/108 dated 13th January 2025 from the purported Presidential Economic Advisory Council requesting for granting granting of accounting status upon receipt of the administrative code. The office responded by conveying the requirements, condition for granting self-accounting status via a letter reference INSIP/RPR/0083/3 dated 17th January 2025, in line with the financial regulation FR 16022. The Council replied via a letter with reference number SH/PAC/PFIPC/RQ/210 dated 12th March 2025, stating their readiness for inspection of the facilities, meaning that the first letter was from the Council asking us to grant the Council a self-accounting status, which OAGF responded by listing out conditions that must be met before such status is granted to the Council. Then the Council wrote back saying that they are ready for inspection to be able to ascertain that those conditions have been met, or part of those conditions have been met, and so therefore requesting that OAGF should go ahead and grant that accounting status. On receipt of their response, 2 officers from the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation were mandated via a letter reference INSP/RPR/0083/3 dated 24th March 2025 to inspect the facilities in the Office of the Presidential Economic Advisory Council on the 2nd floor, Federal Secretariat Complex, Phase 3, Abuja. Following the report of the inspection team, a 6-month provisional self-accounting status was granted to the Council via a letter reference INSP/RPR/003/17 dated 26 March 2025. The 2-man committee was sent to the Council to do that inspection. And after the completion of the inspection, a report was issued, released by the 2-man, submitted to the Treasury for consideration of grants of self-accounting status. Rather than full grant, it was recommended that 6-month provisional approval should be given, probably because they've not met all the conditions of as laid down by Treasury. The other item that we were asked to throw more light on with your invitation is the deployment of staff. The purported Council further forwarded 2 letters, reference PEAC/PFIPC/Volume 1/02, dated 4th April 2025, requesting for the redeployment of 2 number staff who were earlier posted in 2010 and 2013, respectively. We had 2 staff that were posted to the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor to the President in 2010. 1 in 2010, 2, the second one was in 2013, to the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor to the President. It was this office, I guess, that this fake agency now occupied when that office, maybe the previous occupant left or something like that. So those 2 staff remain in that office. We did not deploy those 2 staff to the agency. It was the agency that adopted those 2 staff that were earlier posted to the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor to the President, which is under the supervision of the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. In addition, 5 staff from the pool were also requested to be filled, to fill the purported existing vacancy. The Council, in addition to absorbing 2 that were met in the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor to the President, The council further requested that we deploy 5 staff to them to fill vacancies. However, the OAGF only posted 3 officers via Treasury Circular reference OAGF/ADM/POO/volume1/002/30 dated 28 August 2025 to the council. So they requested for 5, but we posted only 3. The other issue that were asked to throw more light is opening our accounts for the council. Here, a letter was received by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation from the council, reference PEAC/FCIP/DG/TSA/volume 001 dated 11th July 2025, requesting for the opening of TSA accounts and 2 domiciliary accounts for the council, one in USD and the other in Great Britain pounds, with the Central Bank of Nigeria in the name of World Investment Summit. The council further stated that the purpose of this request is to facilitate foreign currency transactions for foreign investment to Nigeria in order to stabilize the economy. That was the reason that we're giving, and because probably they want to host World Investment Summit. And so 2 separate domiciliary accounts were asked to be given, to be opened, as well as a TSA account. Furthermore, the request for the opening of the account was processed along with other pending requests by ministry, department, and agencies. The 2 domiciliary accounts were subsequently opened by the CBN for inflow only. Via the letter with reference number BKS/CSO/CSO/CON/AGF/007/067 dated 13th August 2025. The 2 domiciliary accounts opened were never operational because the council did not meet up with the laid down requirement why the TSA account request was declined. He also asked us to throw more light on the take-off grant. The OAGF received a letter from Federal Ministry of Finance, reference FMF/CMD/PEAC/PFIM/1230/D2/16, dated 20th March 2025, for advice on the possible source of funding for the take-off grant of 27,395,510,136 to enable the Honorable Minister make appropriate recommendation for Mr. President's consideration and approval. However, no action was taken, and there was no provision in the 2025 service-wide vote nor the agency budget that can accommodate the request. So that request for 27 billion was never honored, and no payment was ever disbursed to the agency. In conclusion, it is important to know that no funds were disbursed under personnel, overhead, capital, or any form of releases through intervention, nor cash plan made for the council. Thank you very much, sir.
Special business. November 2024, we have to practice in this manner. After that, we sent a letter to the office and a response to State House. What happened after that? Is there a response from State House to tell you to go ahead? That's one. Number 2, You also said there is only a recommendation, assign your staff for assessment of the office to know if the office is fit enough to recommend it. After that, what happened? Then what happened when this office is under Office of the Economic Advisor to the President, under supervision of Office of the Secretary to the State Government of Federations? And at what time did this office transform from Office of the Secretary Advisor to this piece or whatever this fake agency? And at that point, you have no idea that this is fake agency. And also assign your staff, which have been working from Office of the Economic Advisor to this place. And all those periods, you have no idea as Accountant General of the Federation. I'm sure you know how sensitive and how important that issue is. This committee will need more clarification on this.
Your first question is very apt. From this to this to there, how does this happen? The Accountant General is here to respond. But if we listen, the Accountant General in his submission make it clear. I'm just refreshing our thinking. He have made it clear that there are 2 staff from his office that were posted to the office of the National Economic Advisor. One in 2010 and one in 2013. And they have been there. Let us get that clear. And secondly, he is very open to this committee again to say the so-called agency requested for 3 staffs, 5, but they only approved 2. That explanation is made and the general public are listening. So answer the complement of the question he asked, but I only added this explanation to help my colleagues understand that yes, there was a level that staffs were there, and he equally goes further to say that the staffs are under the supervision of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. So we equally have the responsibility to ask officers in the Office of the Secretary to the State Government to explain. But I think the first complement of his question is very, very important and vital, which you can go ahead to respond to it.
The first interface that this fake agency had with OAGF was in November 2024. And so the leadership then, what the fake agency did was to submit a fake act, so we can call it fake now because we have seen it to be fake. Fake act purportedly enacted by National Assembly, fake letter of appointment, everything that was submitted to the leadership in Treasury was fake. And so probably they did not realize that it was fake, and because it was coming from State House, the approval was given for the administrative code to be issued. That is on administrative code. Then on the issue of the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor, as far as Treasury is concerned, those 2 officers were posted to the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor to the President under the supervision of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Treasury never assumed or written to the fact that those 2 officers were being taken over by this fake agency. We never. And the staff also never reported to the office to say that, okay, another council is taking over the office, and the name of the new council or agency has been changed. It was not known to the Treasury. As far as Treasury was concerned, we were dealing with a new agency, not the Office of the Chief Economic Advisor to the President. That was why when the request for 5 staff were delivered to us, and we felt that 5 staff was too much for that small agency that was just coming. It was decided that 3 should be enough. It was when all this matter came to limelight that we got to know that 2 of our staff were actually working or being absorbed by the fake agency. We never knew. We thought, we believe, based on the record available to Treasury, that those officers were still with the office of the Chief Economic Advisor to the President. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Then, sorry, sir. Then the letter that was written to to Treasury for us to give administrative code, it was responded back to State House. But unfortunately, as event unfolded, it was discovered that that letter did not get to State House. It was hijacked, precisely by the same man who claimed to be the DG. Because if our letter responding to the request of the State House that administrative code should be issued, had it been it has gotten to the State House, definitely PAMSEC State House will have noticed that that letter requesting for administrative code was never issued by State House. And every other staff, even those teams that were sent to the agency to, verify, yes, all are currently undergoing disciplinary procedure. We just, initially we wanted the report from police because police came out first. And now recently ICPC to conclude why we are also going through our own internal disciplinary procedure as well. If it's an agency that is created or maybe executive, Mr. President, maybe like just a body, it will come from the Secretary to the Government of the Federation through the approval or conveyance of Mr. President. And in most cases, generally, it is the agency itself that will write to OEGF to say that they now have a chief executive, a new chief executive. So, but since my assumption of duty, what I do is to ensure that any letter coming from that agency introducing a new leadership, I sent the letter straight back to the office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation for authentication since I assumed office. And that has been the practice. I don't rely on letter coming from the agency, maybe the Director of Human Resources or Director of Administration, introducing the Chief Executive of the organization to the Treasury. I go a step further to ask the Secretary to the Government of the Federation to kindly authenticate such an appointment. They are expected to report at least on a monthly basis, at least, because there are statutory reports that are expected to submit. And on a regular basis, at interval, weekly, they are also encouraged to come up with any issues that affect either personally or the office, and where they need clarification from Treasury. Yes, sir.
I asked that question in relation to the 2 officers that were with the Chief Economic Advisor. Now, if they remain there and the office becomes responsible to defend that nobody was appointed, and he said this new agency absorbed them, if they had been meeting their reporting timelines, which is at most or at least once a month, as in the case of a director as you pointed out, how come if they are now reporting under the auspices of a new agency, what would they be writing? Would they be reporting the office of the Chief Economic Advisor of the new agency? Why didn't what reports did they send to you in the intervening period?
Thank you, Honorable. This is part of why most of them are going through these internal disciplinary procedures. Because first, they are not even supposed to be assumed by the fake agency. They are not. They are supposed to report back to the Treasury. That is one. Secondly, an officer is not expected to stay beyond 3-4 years in an agency. So it means they have made themselves invisible to the Treasury to have overstayed in that agency. And so there is no basis for which they will have been in that agency, reporting to an agency that they were never assigned to. So they are going through that disciplinary procedure. We have seen so many issues that are coming up. So, and that's why since I came on board, one of my principal aim before I leave the Treasury is to ensure that we know or I can account for every Treasury officers that are in the pool of the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. I want to know everything about them, and since I've been on board, I have asked. But unfortunately, maybe because of peculiar benefits, some of them are not willing to come up, to be captured appropriately. But we are doing everything possible, and anybody found culpable will be punished in line with the public service.
Thank you, please.
I intended my two earlier interventions for the support of my honorable colleague's question. So my own question now.
I have said, I will allow you to ask, but let's be fair. We have set a guideline that this is the number of moments that you will take in the other people are waiting.
How many questions does the
Okay, go ahead and ask. Go ahead.
At the beginning of your presentation, you did point out that your first interaction with the agency came via a letter dated November 7, 2024. Now, that letter you alluded to has an annexure, which was signed by Mr. Tombi Adewale, sent to the Director of Administration and Support Services for Permanent Secretary. With the current turn of events, is this letter genuine?
Everything about that letter presented by the fake agency was never genuine. The name of the person is a ghost. We found out that person never existed in or worked with State House. That nomenclature or the director, admin and supply or something, there was never a department like that in State House. And that was why the DG, knowing fully well that it is the tradition of the Treasury to write back to State House to, confirm the administrative code, that letter, our correspondent to the State House was adjourned.
So would I be safe to assume that there are internal collaborators either in your office or in the State House?
Yeah, and that is one of the areas that either the police or the ICPC investigation will definitely unravel. Thank you, sir.
Who authorized and signed the letter that was sent to the Central Bank of approval as part of those accounts?
Now, like I said, the request to open the account came from the agency, and so when it comes, it's minuted down to the appropriate department concerned with the evaluation of the request, which is the funds department, and it was briefed up that the account should be opened. Definitely, the Accountant General will authorize when the briefing comes up. Yes, please.
Sometimes, are they right in the regular paper of the public agency? That's the presentation for the President's Council. And sometimes, you use the regular paper of the State House. Isn't this
one enough red flag for you. Someone and one individual write to you letter with a red paper reading presidential council, investment council, foreign investment council. Another one is writing to a state house with a red paper. If they are very observant, this one enough sign that you are dealing with a fraudulent character.
Depending on the request, so it is sent to different departments. So it's not that all the correspondence come and go straight to one department, and so it may be a bit difficult for one to notice that a person in question is one and only, serving or representing two offices. So because when the request comes, it may be minuted to Director TSA, another one become minuted to Director CAD, another one will become minuted to Director Fund. So it may be very difficult for one to discover that. Thank you, sir.
And I need yes or no answer. I need this page 47 and page 53. Because we have, why, before you give him, why I'm doing this? For transparency. We have confronted the police and established the fact that two different letter-headed papers, I hope I'm being heard very well, I'll call you. Two different letter-headed papers were used by the so-called DG. But in the whole of the exhibit we have, no two letter-headed paper was used to communicate one agency. What I saw in the annexure attachment by the Accountant General, one of the letter was written to the Accountant General of the Federation, which I want you to confirm. Attention, Director Treasury, request to open Treasury Single Account, TSA, domiciliary and Great Britain Pound account with Central Bank of Nigeria, which the letter-headed paper of the agency was used. The second reference you attach in page 53 is addressed to the Minister of Finance, not Accountant General of the Federation. So I don't think there are two letters to the Accountant General of the Federation based on the document my brother cited that was used to communicate. I stand to be corrected. But first check these two. If it is written to you or there is another evidence that you can.
Mr. Chairman, it's presented by the Accountant General, not the Minister of Finance. He is, which means he's in custody of this letter. It's not the Minister of Finance that is giving us this document. He's giving us as part of his presentation.
I am not against you, Honorable Flatter, but I am clarifying so that the general public will not think that the two letters was addressed to, we are on the same page. So that the general public will not think that the two letters was addressed to the office of the Accountant General. Rather, one was addressed to him and one was addressed to the Minister of Finance. This is just my clarification. But I'm not in contention that two letters were not written to the different agencies. I first raised that matter when the Inspector General of Police appeared here, and I have to confront him with the evidence. So it's for us to get our record straight. One of the letter is to the Minister of Finance and one to the Accountant General. Thank you.
So, first was a letter from the agency, the DG, now using the presidency as agency under the presidency. This letter is asking for two things. First is to open TSA account. Second is to open two account, domiciliary account. Like I said earlier, we did not open the TSA account because we found out that the agency did not meet the requirement to do so.
I think Honorable Flatter should listen to hear this. Repeat yourself again because he did not hear what you are doing.
I said the first letter I'm being asked to clarify, which is from the agency itself, now using being under the presidency, is asking for two things. First, for us to open a TSA account. Second, to open 2 domiciliary accounts. Now, we did not open the TSA account because the agency did not meet the condition precedent for us to be able to follow through. Second, the Treasury opened the 2 domiciliary accounts because of the purposes that were stated in the letter, and it was instructed the CBN open it as inflow only, because they still have to come back to Treasury to meet up with other conditions for them to be able to operationalize the account, which they never do so. So the account was just open in name, but was never operational because the agency has not come back to meet up the laid down procedures for the account to be open and become operational. So, as far as we are concerned, the account was never opened. Thank you, sir.
We requested for the statement of account. We have the statement of account, and that there is no single kobo in that account, which is here. But thank you very much for responding to all the issues that were raised. But again, I think the major thing that this committee want to find out from you, you have spoken about them, but we have not asked you questions about them. Not with the view to which hunt you, with the view to giving recommendation that will block those leakages going forward. And I remind us that in addition to his request, we are summoning the responsible offices of the National Assembly so that Nigerians too will see how honorable members will interact with those agencies in terms of the gap that exists in the National Assembly that led to the budget even going to the president to be ascended to without discovering it at our own level here. So what is good for the good is equally good for the gander. So as a chairman of this committee, I will go to that extent. So, but to remind you, I will not mention names. He knows about 2. As a chairman, I am privileged to have names of over 10 to 12 civil servants that need to appear here to answer questions. And if we can call Prince Adeni by virtue of the ruling of this sitting, I think there is nobody that we cannot summon to come here and testify. So the clerk of this committee will communicate you with names beyond what he is insinuating or asking. We have it written that members of head of service, this office, that office, are complacent in one way or the other, and will officially write to you to give approval to those members to appear before this committee on Wednesday. The date has already been given you, Wednesday, 12 noon. But the names of the officers in your office, people from the head of service office should take note, in the head of civil service office, and some officers in the office of the secretary to the government of the Federation will collectively appear here on Wednesday in the afternoon. But let us equally be guided. If these officers appear, I think each committee member here is having the prerogative of making research to know responsibilities of office of the head of service in establishment of agency, responsibilities of the office of the secretary to the government of the Federation in establishment of agency, either establishment of agency, allocation of office, responsibility of the office of the Accountant General of the Federation, so that when we come, we will not be bordering, instead of asking someone on issue of treasury and treasury leakages, we will not be asking him on establishment matter that is a prerogative of the office of the head of service. So we want them at the same time, so that we'll be fair to each and every agencies of government. So may I say that we've taken 2 agencies, the Nigerian Police Force, as well as the Accountant General of the Federation, which we have all told them that we can invite them or seek for further clarification as the commitment of this committee moves on. So without much waste of time, you know we've had 2 resolutions prior to this time that the major person that this investigation surrounds should be here on Wednesday, which is Prince Adeni. We have equally instructed the clerk of this committee, in view of the names we have concerning few agencies of government where civil servants were seen to participate in one way or the other, we are equally asked to be here on Thursday. And I know official communication will be reaching to the head of civil service of the Federation, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Accountant General of the Federation, the Ministry of Finance, the Budget Office. Those 6 agencies, letter will be sent to them today with the names of the person in those offices that we need them to appear here and answer questions on Thursday. So I think we have ruled that, and the committee have no objection.
This one, yes.